Hi, my name is Kelly Shibari, and what makes me queer is the fact that I love everybody. I make my choices. My sexual attractiveness is not based on just looks or gender. It's really kind of based on, at the base level, like if I get along with them. Like I know it sounds cheesy, but it's one of those, if I get along with them on their personality level, then I know that I'm gonna get along with them in bed. So I'm dorky. So if they can laugh at themselves and they can laugh at stuff and just be, an idiot with me, then the likelihood of getting me in bed is pretty high. The way I queer my porn is by, most of the mainstream porn that I'm in is super serious, and it's not what I find sexy. I find what's sexy to me is like the ability to laugh a lot and make fun of each other and point out stuff that in what you would consider mainstream pornography would be considered a flaw. And so the fact that I will kind of go out of my way and accentuate that in a non-humiliating kind of way, and that also includes making fun of myself. So the scenes that I tend to do end up being kind of off by what mainstream porn considers porn, because I'm a dork and I'm happy being a dork. And so I think to me, queering a scene is dorking it up. I'm a quiet perv. I'm not one of those people that is openly, publicly, to everybody, because I know that's, not the entire world isn't queer. So I'm one of those get to know me, and once you've gotten to know me and I've gotten to know you, then I am very open about what I find attractive and what I find sexy and what turns me on and what doesn't. I'm a situational queer, maybe, or just a situational perv, because I don't, part of me being pervy includes making people comfortable with themselves. And if I make somebody uncomfortable by my perviness, then I'm not happy, because then they're uncomfortable, and then the entire room just gets kind of weird and tension filled. And so there are people that I am very pervy with, and then there are people out there that I'm just only a little bit pervy, and it's just kind of pushing people into the pervy queer water without going, hey, here, and throwing them in there and seeing if you float or not. So I kind of do the splish splash, oh, there, here's water, try it, and see if they like it, And I think that's how I learned my perviness, was by trying and experimentation instead of just kind of just jumping in. So I don't expect that out of everybody else. So yeah. I like the fact that I can eat, which is one of those answers that, I guess the standard answer is, oh, I love my curves, and I love how other people love my curves, and they can hold me and squeeze me, and I'm squishy, and it enables me to have big boobs and a big ass, and that's my personal preference when I look at girls with big boobs. I love strip clubs for that reason. So that's kind of the standard answer is, oh, they're big and nice to hold and squeeze, and I don't really like bony things, sticking me in my gut. But being a plus size performer, even though I do eat healthy and work out, I love the fact that if I want to have a slice of cheesecake, I can have a slice of fucking cheesecake. I don't go, oh, but that's X number of calories, which means I have to work out 3 hours tomorrow, and I don't do that, and I just kind of eat what I like as long as it's healthy, and if that makes me plus size, then that makes me happy, and my whole thing right now is being happy. So if I can do whatever it is and it makes me happy, then that's what I'm going to do. So yeah. I like working for indie companies because to me they're more artistic. There's a certain level of creative control that the performers get to have, that you don't really get with like mainstream stuff. Like with mainstream porn, there's a certain level of, oh, what positions do you like? Or what positions can't you do? Actually, let me take that back. It's actually more about what positions can't you do. So then that kind of narrows the field to what positions we will do in today's scene. And there's always like a formula. It's like, okay, we're going to start with this, and then you're going to give a blowjob, and then there's going to be position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4, and then he comes on your face or your boobs, or where do you want him to come? And then that's the end of the scene. It's very technical. Whereas with indie porn, what I found is it's a lot more organic, but it's also what the performers find attractive or what's a turn on for them. So you're not going to find an indie shoot where I'm not into anal, but they're like, but you're going to do anal, but no, I don't want to. No, we're paying you. So it's not that. It's more, there's a lot of what turns you on, and what, do you like, are you interested in doing a scene with this person? And if you did a scene with the scene partner, what do you want to do to her or him? And so that kind of, the ability to be able to negotiate what kind of scene you're going to do, to me makes the scene a lot more fun. So as much as I like doing mainstream porn, there's a certain, I'm not going to say I don't like it at all, because there's a certain element of fun in that too. But I do like indie porn in that I actually do get to relax and let go and have, and as a result actually have more orgasms. I am a clitoral masturbator. I've recently learned in the past year that I can squirt, but I can't control it, and it's definitely something I can't do to myself for some reason. So I have a tendency just to be, like, even when I use vibrators, I just tend to use it on my clit and not inside. And something that's a lot of fun that I've started doing is my partner and we do a lot of mutual masturbation instead of actually having like regular intercourse. And so these days, like, I'm like an avid masturbator rather than an avid fucker these days. And I'm finding that, to me, the sex is a little bit more satisfying because there's like a guarantee that we'll both come. And we're usually in a laying position, so right afterwards we just pass out. Which is always good. Until the next day when you're like, oh, there's cum on my arm or on my leg, and it's just, because you forgot to get up out of bed. But yeah, my current masturbation style is with a partner. I think that's the answer for that. I want a Snuggie. Because I'm not, like, when I do porn, I do dress, super sexy and slightly superhero-esque, I guess, today. But I think that I'm a comfortable sexual partner. I love snuggling. I mean, there's a certain element of yeah, if I'm with, if there's a penis in the room or a strap-on, I do like being pounded, but at the same time, I put a lot more value in like the snuggling and holding and the cuddling and the fondling. So I guess if my sexual ability was personified in an article of clothing, I'd probably be a Snuggie. Although I don't own one, but, or a body pillow, but then that's not a piece of clothing. I just want to be everybody's body pillow. So, I place a lot more value on being cuddled and that kind of human contact than actually having sex, which I think maybe that's why the mutual masturbation thing to me is super hot, because you take turns. It's like, oh, you masturbate first and I'm going to snuggle up on you and I'm going to touch you and feel you. And, oh, if I play with your nipple, does that turn you on? Does that help? If I play with your balls, or if I put my finger, in your vagina just a little bit, does that fullness help you get to that point faster? Like, that to me is hotter than bend over and I'm gonna fuck you, you know, which works for some people, but not so much for me. I get super pervy when I'm drunk. So, most of the exhibitionist exploits that I've had have involved me having a couple of drinks too many. Not to the point where I'm blacking out or anything like that. I'm very cognizant of what I'm doing, but my morals get looser. So, you know, I've done things like, oh yeah, and it comes from like a helpful thing, you know. My friend wanted to get into a party, so I figured if I blew the security guard. But then it turned into like everybody watching me blow the security guard, so. But yeah, I tend to, because my sex is snuggly, I tend not, it doesn't really turn into too much exhibitionist sex. But everybody can watch it on video.